Hello friends and welcome. Today I wanted to talk about one of the most common pieces of advice you'll hear when trying to gain MMR in Dota 2, and that is to take a break. That may seem counterintuitive, but I think not playing Dota 2 will actually do wonders for your MMR. So first of all, why do we need to take a break at all? When many people think about being a good Dota 2 player, they think about these skills of Dota 2, like your mechanics, how good you are at last hitting, map awareness, stuff like that, and then the game knowledge, like, oh, I drafted this hero, like, oh, this is what we should do in this situation. All of that is important, and it's what we usually focus on in these types of videos, but none of that matters very much if you, the player, cannot effectively take what you know and what you can do and put it into the game, from like moving your mouse, pressing the buttons, communicating with your teammates, all of that. And that is what the break is for. If you are physically tired, stressed out from work or school, or going through an emotionally tough time, right, that is going to affect your ability to play the video game. And I know this seems like, I don't know, maybe deeper than you expect, but it really does matter and impact you. And if you think about it, even a 10% decrease, it may not sound like a lot, like, oh, I missed a last hit here and there, I don't usually do that, but like, whatever. Like, that is the increments of Dota 2. It's not always some major brand new skill that you need to learn to climb the next rank. It is simply being consistent with what you're doing, getting every last hit. I mean, not every last hit, right? But if you usually get 50% and now you're at 40%, maybe you're now an Archon player, drop down to like a Crusader player. Even if nothing is going on in your life outside of the game, Dota 2 itself is a very stressful game. It's why we love it, because it's so complicated and it's so cool, but it's a lot at times, and it is tiring to go for all these last hits, to keep your eyes on the minimap while also paying attention. It is stressful. Oh man, is it stressful to communicate with your teammates and not rage out sometimes, but when you yell at your teammates, they're not really going to play any better. It's not going to help you win, and you got to be able to keep that in and not let it just wear you down either, because even if you play silently and you don't rage, that's good. But if you are just festering on it and just you cannot stop thinking about how bad this guy is, and you can't think about what you need to do and what else needs to be going on, you can't just let that go, that is going to affect your ability to play the game. Once you're at the point where you need to take a break, how long should that be before you're ready to come back into the game and win MMR? Now, this is going to depend on you yourself, because everyone is going to be different on how long they need for this reset. And so instead of giving you a duration of time that you should stop playing Dota 2 for, I'm going to instead give you a couple benchmarks that I use to kind of determine, yeah, I'm ready to throw myself back into the game and I can give my best effort. So first of all, you want to play, because I like Dota 2, it is fun, and I want to improve. It's something I enjoy, and so I'm going to play the game. I think it's bad if you are just pressing Q because, like, I need to win back my MMR. I'm on a loss streak. I don't deserve this loss streak. I just got to win. That is a downward cycle. It is. You're not even going to be satisfied. You're going to win. You're going to be like, I got my MMR back. It's not satisfying. You're just content, I guess. Like, it's okay that I got my MMR back. And if you lose, you're going to go further down that tilt cycle. So want to play. Like, I like Dota 2. That's why I'm playing. And so when I start feeling like that again, that's when I know I'm ready to play. I also know that I got to be disciplined. Now, of course, if you just play for fun and sometimes it stresses you out and you're just ready to have fun again, totally fine. If you're trying to gain MMR, which I constantly am because I like tryharding, then being disciplined is important, right? You're playing, support. You usually do this stuff and, oh, I just picked up a couple kills pretty early. Should I get the Midas? Should I get a Dagon? Ooh, right? Like, it is tempting, but it's probably not the best for your MMR. Sometimes being able to stay disciplined and follow through with what you need to do is important. I am sick of spamming the super meta hero, but I know I win with it. I know I'm at a 60% win rate. That is MMR right there. But Pudge, Pudge hooks from the tree sitting there. Oh, kind of fun. Not very good for MMR usually though, so you got to be disciplined. You got to go in with the game plan, pick your best heroes, follow the right builds for the game. You gotta be able to do that. And a lot of times when you're tilted and stressed, that temptation to just goof off and have fun, to stress relief, that is great. That's what a video game is for. But again, if you're looking for MMR, those two don't usually work that well together. Maybe bring it to unranked, maybe bring it to another game. You've also got to stay humble. I see this with people who drop a lot of MMR, like 500, let's say, and they go from ancient down to legend, and they stop respecting their opponent and their teammates because, oh, they're so much worse than me, right? I'm on a losing streak, but like usually I'm way better, so I'm just gonna wreck these guys and just do whatever I want. You don't get to do that. I mean, to a degree, at some point you do lose enough MMR, you kind of can, but you should still keep respectful about it. And I don't mean like tilting and like, flaming the opponents. I mean like, hey, I'm going to go in 1v3 because I bet they're so bad, they're not going to react in time and stun me, and I'm going to kill this guy and get out. I'm so much better. You go and you feed, your game just got a lot harder. Or like, oh, my teammate, he wants to do this. He should do what I want to do because I'm better than him. Why aren't you listening to me, you loser, you legend loser? Stay in legend forever, right? That's a classic. Guys, you've lost MMR. You are in the rank you're supposed to be in right now. If you are tilted and you've lost MMR, that brings down your MMR. So even if like, oh, Zach, I'm usually ancient. When you're tilted, you're a legend. And if you are queued up and you're playing with other legend players, they are the equivalent of you. If you don't agree, prove it by winning the game. Keep humble. If you think you're better than your opponents and your teammates, just do it. Just beat them. Simply do it. Don't go crazy and like treat them like trash because it's going to backfire and you're going to spiral even further, and then you're going to be in like Guardian, Herald, wherever. So just keep cool, just play your game, and don't look down on people. Actually, regardless of your MMR, don't look down on people. That is just have a decent level of respect for your fellow humans and your fellow people. That is just a good thing to do. The final piece that I think is critical in order to play your best is that you need to understand when you press play and you get your teammates, they are not going to be perfect teammates every single time. In fact, 4 perfect teammates is extremely rare. You will remember those games because it is like, oh, everything's just coming together. It's so great. Those are awesome. That is not the reality of public matchmaking for any video game that you get random teammates in until you start partying up. Then you have a bit more control, and then even those guys are going to annoy you sometimes. But when you are playing, the solo queue games, they're not perfect, and that is what you are getting into. You need to accept that reality. And I'm not just talking about the skill of the players, right? Sometimes you get really good players, sometimes you get bad players. Most of the time, you just get average players who have good or bad games. That's the reality of it. But there's also the personality of the Dota 2 players. There is almost always going to be, let's say, one guy who is just, he's a little disagreeable. He doesn't say things in the nicest manner. That is Dota 2, that is video games and public matchmaking, and it's just people. You will run into just rude people. You need to be ready to deal with that, because if you let it get to you, even if you don't say anything back, but it's just like festering in your mind, it's going to affect your ability to play. So let me paint a scenario for you to see if you're ready to play Dota 2 again. There you are, you start the game, you buy a smoke, you smoke your team out, you get first blood, nice. You go pick up 3 bounty runes, that's excellent. You get to your lane, you block the enemy camp, you put up an observer ward, you get another kill there, things are going great, good harass. You share that tango over, lane's pushing out. You head over to pull the carry, probably a Slark player, dies on their own. Do you plan to do anything useful this game, or are you just gonna be a Step on me harder, Slark. Oh god, can I make that joke? Is that too messed up? I'm just saying, you gotta be ready to take it. It's just what's gonna happen, and you have to be ready for it. Mute them if you need to, but do not bother flaming back. It's just gonna devolve the game. When you can do that, when you can mute and just keep playing your best, that is when you're good to go. If you get into a game and you're like, the second someone yells at me, I am done, I am over. He doesn't deserve to win. I'm gonna lose the game. Like, you're hurting yourself. It is not good for you. Not just the game, like your own. The video game is affecting you as a person. It is too much. You need the break. Okay, so what are you doing on this break? You can take a totally Dota-free break. That is fine. Go play other games, go read, go outside, God forbid. But just keep in mind, when you actually take a complete break from Dota, I mean, for a little bit is fine, but the longer you take a break, your skills are actually going to decline. That is okay. That is part of taking the break. Understand that you're kind of like trading it off, right? We're sacrificing a little bit of Dota skill, but you're going to get back the whole like mental state, emotional state, physical state. And when you are just too exhausted and you get 2 extra hours of sleep because you didn't play Dota yesterday and you actually went to bed at a reasonable time, that is going to refresh you, and maybe you're a little bit rusty when you come back, but you are good to go. You are energized, you are ready for it, and I think that will make up for it. Maybe you play a couple unranked games, arcade games instead, or after your Dota free break, you play these games to get your Dota skills back, get back into it. That'll work too. It is just a break from the ranked try-hard mentality that requires you to try your best and to want to win for most people. When you step back into unranked unranked. Sometimes that can be enough of a break. If it's not, that's when you might want the whole Dota free break. That is also okay. Videos and streams, if you're not ready to completely step away from Dota, you still want to improve, go watch some educational videos or streams. Twitch.tv/ZQuixotix. There's also a YouTube VOD channel if that's more convenient for you. You could also watch any tournament games going on. The casters usually explain the meta going on. You can see cool stuff happening that can give you some ideas to then bring into your own games. I always get excited watching those kind of games. Or if you don't want to watch pros, watch whatever streams. And then there's a part of you as a Dota 2 player, you see someone do something, you're like, he's not special. I can do that. I can do that better, actually. And then you're ready to go. You don't always have to take an official break or whatever that is. I sometimes just take a few minutes between games, not chain queuing. We're not pro players. We don't need to be able to play like a best of 3 into a best of 5, back to back. You can take a few minutes between to process what happened, to reset yourself. I find that helps me a lot. Let me know down in the comments what you guys prefer, because jokes aside, I do think breaks are very personal, whatever you need to do. So maybe some people can share some cool ideas and you can try something new that you've never thought of, and maybe that'll help you. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, go get stepped on or whatever.